Hi, everybody. It's Ricky Heller from rickyheller.com, and I'm back today with another Living Candida free video. You probably see that I changed the name because they're new and I can still do that. So today I'm actually going to talk some more about traveling. It's like a gorgeous day here in the Toronto area today, and so people are thinking about traveling and eating on the road because along with travel and all the fun things we do, of course, food is so important. So last time in my video, I talked about eating some really, really healthy breakfasts on the road. And today I want to talk about things like restaurants and eating in hotels and just supplying your food as you're out, because of course that's part of the fun of traveling is going to restaurants. And I'm not going to go to camping because I am so not a camper, so not a camper. So for me, restaurants are an important thing. So I have three major tips. I do talk a lot about this in my Living Candida free course, or if I coach people, but I can't cover everything today. So I want to really just focus on the three most important things, or three of the best tips that I have for you. So the first one is actually to prep in advance, and two of these kind of follow along those lines. In other words, if there's a way for you to ensure that you have something to eat at the restaurant, then I would say go for that. So a lot of people know the tips about bringing food to friends' houses when they're on a special diet, but in restaurants, you can sort of do the same thing. So what I will do sometimes is if I'm going to a restaurant and I know that they have some good veggie options, but not so many good gluten-free options, I will actually bring some pasta with me, some dry pasta, and I can talk to the kitchen and say, would you mind cooking my pasta in a separate pot and serving me this with your marinara sauce, let's say, or your tomato sauce. And I would say 9 times out of 10, they're very accommodating and they're happy to help if they don't already have something really good for you that's gluten-free on their menu. So I had mentioned, I think last time in last week's video, that I was recently at a conference in Dallas, and we went to a store called Sprouts, which I hadn't heard of, which is kind of like a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's type place. And I just went and I bought a whole bunch of snacks and a whole bunch of, I bought like a bag of baby carrots and some other fruit that I could have, apples, whatnot. And so that was a great way to have some extra food that I could bring along with me on lunches when we went out to restaurants and I perhaps wasn't able to find 100% of what I could eat on the menu, so that I was able to supplement that. So prepare in advance, and in other words, bring some of your own stuff if you can to the restaurants. So that's tip number one. The second tip I have is ask 3 times. And I always think of that Tony Orlando song, ask 3, no, not 3 times on the ceiling. I am not going to sing because I would not wish that on anybody's ears, but you know the song I mean, knock 3 times on the ceiling. So ask 3 times. And what that means is you ask before you go, you ask when you arrive, and you ask before you eat. And each time you want to confirm that the food is whatever your particular needs are. So in my case, I might know that something is plant-based, but I want to be sure it's gluten-free. And so just as an example, you might think but you always want to be sure and go with your gut, if you have a feeling about something. There's a restaurant near where we live. I'm just going to call it Fabuloso. So it's an Italian restaurant. My husband loves Italian food. And a friend of mine told me that this place was just around the corner and that they had gluten-free pasta. And so I was thrilled because he could get something that he liked and I could get something that I liked. So I did call just to confirm, and I was told absolutely yes, they have gluten-free pasta. When we arrived, I spoke to the maitre d', and he was totally reassuring about gluten-free pasta. And when we placed our order, our lovely wait person, he told me, of course, yes, absolutely no problem, gluten-free pasta. And my husband was thrilled because he ordered a big hunk of meat or whatever he usually does. And then when the food came to the table and the guy served it, I looked at the plate, and I don't eat a huge amount of pasta, but every time I do, it's gluten-free pasta. And so it just didn't look like the usual spirals or linguine type of pasta that I usually get. So I didn't actually even taste it. And I called the server over and I said, are you sure this is gluten-free pasta? And the guy was like, oh, he went white and he snatched the plate away from me, like splattering sauce all over him. And he said, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I forgot to order the gluten-free pasta. So, I checked gluten-free pasta, gluten-free pasta, gluten-free pasta. When it came to my table, not gluten-free pasta. So I think you can never be too careful. And I would always ask a minimum of 3 times, confirm, 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 because in the end, as you well know, we must be our own best advocates. Other people are not necessarily going to check for us. It's not as important to anybody else what you eat as it is to you. So that would be my second tip, is ask 3 times and really go with your gut. If it doesn't feel right, don't eat it. I'm an extremely economical, frugal, cheap person, and for me, giving up $15 if I feel like there's something wrong with that meal and I just don't want to eat it, that's going to hurt. But I'd much rather do that than eat something that is going to literally hurt me physically and hurt my health. So always check. And then I would say the third tip is basically timing is everything, as in life, so in eating on special diets. So if you can set up a reservation either before or after what's going to be the really main and busiest time at that restaurant, that's going to help you to find a meal that's going to be within your boundaries of your special diet, but also going to help the restaurant to accommodate you within the boundaries of your special diet. Because just like the case with me and my husband, they're not going to be so busy that they overlook things. If it's not busy and you're at a little bit of quieter times, they will be much more willing to take the extra time necessary to do the extra, possibly the extra cooking necessary, and really be careful about what they're going to serve you. So those would be my 3 best tips in terms of eating in restaurants when you're on the road, but actually even when you're at home too. I mean, most of us have 2 or 3 places that we know are safe for us, but it's always fun to try new places. So if you're traveling, if you're at home and you're just looking for new places, those are some things that you can do and to ensure that you're going to eat well no matter where you are. So I hope that video was helpful. I hope you learned something here. If you did, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, or is it over there? Subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think in the comments. I would love some comments from you guys about what you'd like to see in future videos. If you have ideas for topics, please do let me know, because I want to be talking about issues and topics that are important to you and obviously that are going to be helpful to you. And I just love comments. So I love hearing from you. I love comments. Love comments. I really like comments. So please do. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. And I hope to see you next time as well. And that's it for me on Living Candida Free. Bye for now.